Liz Lentz strikes again, y'all. Her newest piece from MSNBC, Opinion, why we need to stop telling women to, quote, just get married. Tempting to see marriage as an appealing way of opting out of the ceaseless grind of capitalism. Don't fall for it. Some of you might know Liz Lentz is the author of a book called This American Ex-Wife, which I recently read. It's fantastic. Highly recommend. She says marriage is having a moment in the American discourse. TikTok videos extol the virtues of being a stay-at-home wife. Mother who also feeds chickens, makes sourdough bread, has 5 children, makes sourdough bread from scratch, by the way. These stories, of course, they're focused on women because it's young women who are more likely to opt out of marriage. And it's the older women who are divorcing their husbands. Yeah, gray divorce. It's totally a thing. And this part was rich. I think I read that essay in The Cut. Recently, an essay published in the New York magazine's The Cut even argued that marriage is a feminist reclamation. Marriage, as the author describes it, is a protectorate wherein she is taken care of and pampered. It truly sounds nice given the level of exhaustion American women are experiencing after carrying the weight of cognitive and domestic labor and doing the work of the social safety net. But it's worth pointing out that gilded cages are still cages. Frickin' men. And I can't believe someone got on their laptop with a straight face and tried to say that the protectorate aspect of marriage is feminist. Yeah, protect us from whom, though? Because statistically, the person we're married to is the most dangerous man. The person most likely to harm us is the man we're married to. You're much more likely to experience violence at the hands of that person than at the hands of a random guy walking down the street. Most violence against women occurs behind closed doors in the home. Speaking of which, even now, with all its supposed advantages, marriage can be a trap for women who are more likely than men to experience physical and emotional abuse. And nearly 20%, that's 1 in 5, y'all, of marriages involve some kind of violence. In 2021, 34% of female victims, unalive victims, were killed by their intimate partner, compared to only 6% of male victims. This briefly brings up one of my favorite the arguments I hate the most about marriage. You know, they always say like, oh, well, women are giving their lives away to corporate interests and you're working for the man. Why not be a stay-at-home mom and live a soft life? As someone once said, slavery never ended for Black women. We just switch masters. So this argument how it's better to work for a man who loves you rather than the man, you really want to live in a situation where your safety, your well-being, your financial security depends entirely on this one man loving you? She says, but it's still an upsetting logic, presuming that marriage is still the work of a woman rather than the partnership of equals. Plus, that logic doesn't parse. All it does is economically isolate women. As I said, a wife is far more likely to be abused by her husband than a stranger, and stay-at-home moms are more likely to be depressed and anxious. And also broke. The traditional stay-at-home mom to poverty pipeline is a thing. Listen to the stories of all the privileged white women who had these great marriages, these amazing godly men. They're homeless, living in their car with 5 kids if that guy decides to up and leave them. You're flying without a net there in that situation. And this bit is my favorite. In The Second Sex, Simone de Beauvoir argues that marriage is premised on a man treating a woman like a person enslaved while making her feel like a queen. It is more comfortable to endure blind bondage than to work for one's liberation. And further down, freedom isn't found under the guardianship of marriage. It is found when we are seen as equal partners and given equal opportunities to earn money and control our own bodies and destinies. And I think I'm due a reread of Simone de Beauvoir's book because I need to really internalize that. Because for weeks I've been trying to articulate my problem with stay-at-home mom / trad wife. By the way, stay-at-home moms that don't have any kind of financial security, by the way, that their husbands aren't putting money away from them. They have no money for a rainy day, or they don't have money they saved prior to being a stay-at-home mom. I'm talking about the women who are leaving their entire lives, safety, financial security in the hands of their husbands. These are the people I'm talking about. And by the way, those trad wives on the internet aren't really trad wives. They're content creators. They're making money. So they're not economically insecure because they have a job. They're content creators. So they're not really trad wives when you think about it. They're just working moms like the rest of those people. But my problem with the trad wife narrative, the insistence that it is preferable for women to be stay-at-home mothers, depend on their husbands, is precisely what Simone de Beauvoir said. It has all the trappings where it makes you feel like a queen. It makes you feel like you're living this great, luxurious, soft life. But you're really enslaved because you can't go anywhere. You have no power. You have no agency. You are trapped with that man and those kids. And they say, oh, well, women can get alimony and women just, take all men's money when they get divorced. If you have no access to the family funds, how are you going to hire a lawyer to get the alimony? Yes, women have rights in marriage and upon divorce, but you have to hire someone to help you exercise those rights. And the first thing that men do during a divorce is they take all the resources and they cut off the non-working wife's access to the money. So where are you going to get $5,000 or $10,000 for a retainer for a lawyer? That's about what a retainer costs, by the way. Maybe more depending on where you live. And that's how a lot of divorced former stay-at-home moms end up screwed. Because they think going into it, oh, I have all these rights. I'm secure. I'm safe. I'm safer than those single women. I'm better than those single women. No, dude, your life as it exists is entirely at the behest and on the whims of one person, one man. What happens when he stops loving you? And that often extends to your kids too, because most of the men in these situations who treat their wives like crap, abuse them, and then the wives, flee for their lives and then try to get what's owed to them, and they really, really struggle. The withdrawal of their love from you often extends to your children. So good luck trying to get them to pay for the necessities of your child. Rent for wherever you're going to live with the children, childcare, child support. Good luck trying to get that, because men who think like this, they figure, oh, if I no longer have access to you, why should I have to pay you? Because their support and care for you was dependent entirely on their love for you. When they stop loving you, treat you like crap, and you cut off the access, they cut off the money. Because for them, it was always transactional. It was never about partnership. It was always about transactional. I give this woman a house. I pay for all her expenses and the kids. And in exchange, she does whatever I want. She sleeps with me. She does my laundry. She cooks all my food. She cleans my house. She keeps my appointments. She basically organizes my entire life. And I just pay for shit. And that's all I have to do. But once you stop doing that, he figures, why should I have to support a household if I'm not getting the benefits of that household? It is all transactional with men who think like this. I say all this to say, y'all, marriage is not going to save us, because marriage is not liberation. But a lot of people are not interested in liberation. A lot of women are interested in it because it's hard. It's hard. Being independent is hard. Learning to function and be on your own outside of this system everyone tells you to be in is hard. You're going to get a lot of pushback because the world wants you in those institutions. The world wants you to form families the way they want you to, the way that's beneficial for patriarchy and capitalism. When you try to operate outside of that system, it's going to be hard. But here's the good news, though. You'll figure it out. We did. Working for liberation in the long run is worth it. Don't settle for a system that was not designed for you. Do not settle for a system that will not protect you, that has no interest in your well-being or your equality or your liberation. Go for your liberation first and foremost, and do not let any of these other things distract you from that singular goal.